Okay, we are live. All right. You guys, we don't have our fearless leader today, but we are going to show you our new countdown video. We'll be back in a minute.
Only two days taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
And we made it.
We're back.
And there are actually people watching now. You guys, we are without Michelle today, so wish her grace on her journey, and Dr. Darlene and I will keep the ship afloat. And you may have noticed we had a little bit different morning, but welcome to Biz Chat, a place of encouragement for faith-based entrepreneurs. I am Coach Noelle, and over there is Dr. Darlene.
Hello.
We're here to bring you topics that are strategic to launching and scaling your God-sized dream in the marketplace and ministry. Today is Friday, February 18, and today we're going to be talking about principles of growth. That's what all businesses want, right? And sometimes we have a hard time figuring out how to make that happen. So that'll be our topic today, but let us start with our chat time. Highs and lows. What's been up for you this week, Dr. Darlene?
Wow. Highs have been good. I've had some really good aha moments in my business, really a lot of confirmations of things that had been dropped in my spirit over the last couple of weeks. And then different sources have really confirmed those. So that's really good.
Yeah. Anything specific you want to share, or is it not time yet?
Yeah, not quite yet.
Okay.
For direction. Actually, it's kind of germane to our topic, but I don't want to open that cat out of the bag yet.
Okay. All right. So stay tuned for next.
Stay tuned. So there's more areas of healing in the kingdom to come. So it's good. Yay. So that's been really, really good. And then I love confirmations, just many things. So that's great. And then lows. So just a lot of things going on as far as new aspects of my medical consulting business coming in. The Lord he's very interesting with this, like I'll tell you, when I first became an entrepreneur, that I was straight medical consulting. That's all I was doing, and that was good. And then he totally gave me this huge left turn, right? Well, I thought was a left turn. He was actually turning me from the left to straight ahead.
Yeah.
There you go. But now he's been kind of resurfacing some of these other things, but it looks different and it's in different ways. So I'm just having to adjust and not let myself, this is really important, folks, when the Lord brings you back to something that you were doing previously, brought you out of, it always looks different. So don't get in your head over it, because you can think, oh, am I going backwards? Am I going back? Because you're a different person today than you were back then. So it's always going to look different. So just go with the flow. That's what I would say. So what about you? Coach?
It's so funny because I'm like, oh, I have questions about this and this. Every time we talk, I'm just ready to just chat and forget we're on camera.
Okay, that too.
That's true. It is biz chat. Okay, highs and lows for me were 2 highs, one of them connected to my low. My first high was actually coming onto your community and sharing some new material. And that was I was super stoked about that. And it sounds like there was some good response from your community and excitement about that. Yeah. So I started a new coaching group this week that was connected to people who are reading my book and asked for some coaching. So that happened this week. That was really awesome. Being on your show and like seeing what God's going to hatch up for future, like that's just been an intriguing, exciting thing. Yeah. And then my low was yesterday. Actually, I've been talking with some marketing companies and some different mentor options because I have I'm actually thinking back to, I remember when God told you to start going live daily and healing in the kingdom,
Yep.
and you started doing that. With my business, definitely God told me to launch the book,
Yep.
but the direction God has given me has been in like little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really been able to put the picture together for how the whole business is going to run, like the marketing systems, like what's the system and how, because you have to have a system to scale.
You do.
And I know that we will be scaling this. And so I've just been talking with people, and I do feel like I'm going to hire some of these people, but I felt like God and my husband said, not yet.
Mm.
So I got kind of down about that and frustrated, like, well, I need something, like, like I get a little sassy with God at times. And I wasn't angry. I just was like discouraged and like, well, what am I doing here? And I woke up this morning with the entire system. Like, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. So kind of like when God told you to start going live, I know what God is asking me to do, and I'm giddy about it.
So awesome.
Yeah.
That's usually the reason he won't let us hire outside help, because that outside help will actually screw up what he's already got.
Yeah. And I think like I would have spent several months focusing on that and trying to build an infrastructure and kind of getting distracted from actually, infrastructure work is different than actually doing business.
Yes.
And so I think that what God is asking me to do is put the system in place and start doing it, and then hire them to fine tune, hire a team, and put, systems in place. So
good.
Yeah.
So good. Yay, God.
Yeah. And actually that leads into our topic today too. Principles of growth. So those of you who are live, we're so excited to have you. Go ahead and put in your questions. If you have any questions about growth, go ahead and put those in the chat. We'll keep an eye on those. We're going to keep chatting, but we'll keep an eye for those. And Dr. Darlene, like, what would you say might be the most important principle of growth you've learned in terms of kingdom business?
Yeah, I actually have two, because I was thinking a lot about this. One is actually physical movement. So you actually have to physically do something in order to grow. I know that sounds basic, but sometimes people think growth is just going to happen and it's just going to occur. And it's like, think about, an apple tree, right? So if the apples fall off the tree and the seeds are just hanging out, maybe a new apple tree will grow. Maybe a new apple tree won't grow, but it's definitely not going to be as good as if you're very intentional and you go look for the fertile soil, right? And you get the right good quality seeds, right? And then plant them and you're intentional about it. Now, saying that, and as I was saying that, I was thinking about my own journey of growth, where I was growing before I knew. We talked about that. Right. And so it can get frustrating when you're doing the things and you're not seeing the results right away. And so in thinking about that, the way the Lord has particularly spoken to me, and maybe this will speak to some of our ladies that are on today, was that people would see things in me that I did not see in myself, that were actually areas where I needed to be. And, that's number one, how Healing in the Kingdom got started, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's like, hey, write a chapter on the science of God's healing power. And I'm like, say what? I don't know that. And they're like, yeah, you do.
You just never put it together.
Like, yes. So, and now I love it because I do a lot of identity coaching now in those programs, and I get to return that, right, and draw things out. And people, I'm like, yeah, but you carry so much more. It's funny because I tend to draw a lot of artistic folks into that community, right? And I didn't understand that for a very long time. I mean, I guess I played classical piano since I was 3 years old. So very little. Yeah. So I was actually really good and even in college and doing some significant performances and all this, but I never thought about myself as an artist. Right. And it's been interesting. The Lord kind of restarted some things with me. But what's interesting is a lot of artists tend to focus on their complete identity is that, right? an artist,
Mm,
a musician, and all of these things.
mhm,
And they miss out on the fullness of all the ways that God wants to grow them, right? And so
mhm.
it's been so interesting working with these folks. And I get to see, yes, you're an amazing painter, you're an amazing composer, but there's so much more, right?
Yeah.
And so so I would say, in addition to movement, just be open to prophetic voices, I would say,
Yeah.
right? Those
Yeah.
hearing from God that are seeing things in you that you don't see in yourself. So
Awesome. Okay. We have some really good questions coming in. So I'm going to pop those on and we're going to start with this one. Based on your experience, do you have a list of questions for us to ask ourselves to help sort out timing related to growth, right? Because there's seasons of growth, right? You want
yes.
to start with that one? I saw your face light up. Do you have a thoughts about that one?
Season, yeah. So timing. Oh gosh, this is one that I think is a struggle for most people because I think, and you were even talking about this in the beginning, Noel, right? Like you want the whole marketing plan laid out ahead of time, and we want to know, okay, what are we doing today,
Mhm,
next
mhm,
month, quarter three, all of this stuff. But the Lord doesn't always work like that, right? So he's
mhm.
got these, he sets the times and seasons, but also the kingdom of God operates outside of time. So we're constantly doing a dance, right? Between hearing when the Spirit is saying to move, right?
Yeah,
And making plans because we got to move, right? So we got
yeah.
to do the things, but we also have to attune to that. So yeah, I would say so questions to ask ourselves to sort out the timing related to growth. Okay, so have you heard from God that now is the time to take a step in this direction, or are
Mhm,
you getting impatient because you've been waiting a long time? That is my number
mhm.
one question
That is a
say
good
to ask
question.
people.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
what about you, Coach Noel?
I
What do you
think for me, I have wrestled with this. So I'm like, oh, hit us with the heavy questions here.
I know, right? We love Shauna. Thank you. Thank you for pushing us to our limits. Yay.
Yeah, this is a tough one because as business people, we want it to all happen right now.
Mhm.
So I think questions to ask yourselves are some questions I have had to ask myself recently. Am I really ready to steward what growth means?
Ooh.
Like, am I willing to be consistent and not let my clients down and do the hard work if something goes wrong to make it right for them? Like, so that do I have it in me? Am I willing? That's one question.
Mhm.
Um, and then the other one that comes to mind is that, and you guys, if you are God followers, you'll know what I mean. This is kind of an abstract concept, but is there a peace and a joy in what I'm doing, or
Yes.
am I pushing and there's striving?
Yeah.
Because that's part of what I was so giddy about this morning with waking up, was that there was just a peace and a joy and a knowing. There's no striving, there's no pushing to make it work. And you guys, you can push if you want. You can strive if you want. That's the way the world does business. And you can get results that way. You can also get ulcers and other things,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
We're talking about kingdom business on this show. And
Right.
if you want to do kingdom business, you wait for that peace and joy with that direction and others pouring into you and giving you ideas. And so that would be my answer to that. And we'll kind of look down and see if anybody has any follow-up comments about that. But awesome question. So we've got another one. You ready, Dr. Darlene?
I'm ready.
We're
Yes.
doing this a little different today, but I like it. All right. Uh-oh, Jody, we don't have the whole question. It didn't show up. I wonder if it was too long.
Oh, okay.
Shoot. Let me see if it came down here and got clearer. Nope. Oh my goodness, I was so excited
Okay.
about that.
I know, Jody. Please put the rest of your question in, or if your full question. That will be awesome. So,
Yeah, yeah.
well, Annette is saying she's a consultant and she specializes in a specific IT field. She's been questioning if she should expand her skill set in order to grow. So that's very interesting, actually. I literally just taught on this because we're diving deep in one of my programs into core identity and seasonal identity. Okay, and then
So
business
good.
identity, which are all very, very different things, folks, by
Yeah.
the way. So I'm not going to give a dissertation on it, but I am going to say there are seasons for you personally and in your business when something needs to expand in order to serve the people in your life. Okay. Whether you're running a formal business or it's, the people that you're
Mhm.
connected to or not. And it's always a question of what is part of your core identity now and what do these people need, right? So you have to ask yourself, if that's a skill that you don't have right now, God, is this something you want me to learn? Is this something you want me to take on because it's actually a part of who I am that you want to draw out? Or do you want me to, are you going to send me somebody to collaborate with who fills in that need for my people? So that is a question whenever you are feeling an urge to add something. One, do your clients require it, right? Do the
Mhm.
people in your life require it? Or are you listening to what somebody's telling you that you
Right.
need, right? So
Right.
that, but also to just dive deeper, it's not always that you have to go learn those things, right?
Right.
Because I know I'm the kind of person I know you did this too, took a ridiculous number of courses about all
Mhm.
kinds of stuff that were
Yeah.
just not in alignment with what I was supposed to be doing. And the answer was literally, God was like, why didn't you I sent you this person who was an expert in this,
Right.
take advantage of that. I'm like,
Go talk
thought
to
I had
them.
to do all the things, God. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Us independent visionary types get into trouble with that sometimes.
all good.
Oh gosh.
Taking up
Okay.
space in the brain. It could be utilized other ways.
Oh gosh. Okay, Dr. Darlene. Jody put her question more in the chat and it's long. So I'm just going to let you read it in the chat and talk about, okay. And those of you who don't have questions, go ahead and leave in the chat what principles of growth have been important for you. So you guys go ahead and comment in that. And one of the things I'm going to speak to something that I think is specific to our artistic types or females in general, because artistic types tend to have a lot of different things going on. That creativity kind of bounces all over. And one of the things that I wanted to throw out, Sandy Krakowski is a friend on Facebook. She's got a huge following. And so I'm usually looking at her comments and stuff, and she's fiery. You guys are kind of kindred spirits, I think, Dr. Darlene. And she's usually saying stuff that I'm like, "Whoa, she went there." Well, today I listened to her podcast for the first time, and she was talking about money and relationships, which is why I was obviously fascinated with it, right? And one of the things she said, she's a 8-figure earner. She has been every year a 7 or 8-figure earner since she was 27. And I think she's 50. So she's doing very well. She said she works 15 to 20 hours a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
And in terms of principles of growth, that was really encouraging to me, because it's funny, because some of these companies that I've been talking with, one of the things I told them yesterday is I need someone to help me learn how to scale in 20 hours a week. The rest of my life is full. I've got 20 hours a week to work. And so principles of growth, be careful what you're thinking about and what you're believing, because if you believe you have to work 80 hours a week, that's what you're going to do.
Yep.
And sacrifices will be made. So keep that in mind in terms of as you're thinking about growing and scaling. That was so encouraging to me to hear today.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because at what point does it end otherwise, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to scale and have a 6-figure or 7-figure business, right? And now you're working 80 hours a week. What does that mean? Are you going to have to create more hours in the week in order to scale to 80 figures?
Right.
There's a better way. There's a kingdom way. There's kingdom systems applied to the things of this world that lead to that leverage and exponential growth. So that's so good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll have to go listen to that.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. All right. Jody's question. She says, I feel in my community, I have people needing a deeper, probably deeper teaching, open a mastermind, change my current to, okay. So Jody's asking about how to structure her programs, what she's doing. And,
Okay.
and I think this is a good thing, because I know Jody runs it's a community that can grow like exponentially, right?
Great.
And so some of the things she does don't have a limit on the number of people that can come in, and it looks like people are really wanting some hands-on. So
Yeah.
really what you have to do is, like, Noelle, I love that you've set your parameters already, and you say, look, I've got 20 hours a week for this thing. And you have to think about how you want to use them, right? So time blocking is so, so important. And I'm very strategic about this. Like, I stopped doing one-on-one sessions because in order to serve people in my main programs and in my masterminds at the level that they need to be served, can't do it, right? And the Lord hasn't in this season been calling me to that. But it sounds like, Jody, that you are being called into that, and the need is expressing itself. So I would just say to really don't worry so much about the dollar number that you're getting in, because I think this is where people make a mistake. They're like, okay, well, if I don't give all this time to this thing, then, I'm going to have less income from this other place, right? And so don't let money be your driving force, right? Yeah. Ask God, what is the time, right? And then what do these people need? What do you need to charge in that situation? But be sure it already fits. And if you've already got yourself time blocked, something has to go, right? Don't be adding hours to your work day, okay? Because that's a tendency as things grow. You think about that, but really look at all the programs that you offer right now and say, what is this going to replace? It's the same thing if you're trying to break a habit, right? That goes in reverse, right? If you're breaking a habit, you got to replace that with something else, right? To fill in that gap. Because we don't want to be creating voids, and we don't want to be expanding where there's no space to expand. So.
Yeah. My husband is a consultant and writer, and the way he describes it to clients is, if your plate is full of food, you got to take something off to add the next thing. So
yes,
a nice little visual. I like anything related to food. So
that's right. Your business is not Thanksgiving dinner, folks, where you continue to pile stuff on.
That is such a great thought, because there will come a time maybe in business where you do pile on for a short period of time.
True. That's true.
So that does happen.
Yeah.
We're not going to,
but it's not every day, right? Because if you ate Thanksgiving dinner every single day, that would just not be good on many, many levels.
We'd all be 800 pounds. Yes. Oh my word. Okay. So let's see here. Maybe that's it for today. I think this was good. Anything else you'd add to this in terms of principles of growth? I don't see any new questions coming in. So
let's just review for people. So what are the principles we said? So I started out with movement. So just take a step and let God redirect you, right? And then be open to others seeing things in you that you don't see in yourself. So don't dismiss things right away, I would say, because sometimes, like in my case, I thought I was going straight. I was going to the left, and God is like, let's get back over here in alignment. And that's where you stop. Because let me tell you, the hours I was spending doing straight medical consulting, was like back at my old job almost, I was like working in the evenings and weekends and craziness. And God's like, hey, called you out of this to be a mom to your kids, to be a wife to your husband. You've been praying to me for kids and a husband for a long time. Here they are. Stop ignoring them. And I'm like, okay, yes, thank you.
Oh my word.
Good times. So
I am laughing so hard at that. I don't remember what I said, but I remember it was very annoying.
It was very inspired. Go back and listen.
That's right. Make sure you took notes, and I actually find that happens a lot when Holy Spirit takes over the flow. I'm like, I don't really know what I said.
I know. I have to go back and watch my replays a lot. My husband makes fun of me actually, because I was like, are you listening to your own teaching? And it's for a purpose. It's not like
Oh my gosh.
It's good times.
All right. Well, and I'm so excited, you guys. Thank you for being here live. We've made this transition to where we're recording three 3 weeks out of the month. So I wasn't sure if we'd have anybody live. So it was so exciting to have you guys here and your questions. That is amazing. I think we are still offering this free. We did a free workshop at the beginning of the year. That was pretty amazing.
So good.
And you guys who have listened for a while know that Michelle and I kind of had a disagreement about it initially. And so I had to eat some humble pie because God went nuts with it. So this is free. If you would like to access that, if you're still not really sure about your year, faithoverfearbizchicks.com/plan 2022. And Michelle and I also had an epiphany this this week. We're like, boy, our downloads are really low. We've been doing this for a while now and people are watching. And why do we have such pitiful downloads? Well, because we've been referring people to Facebook, not to download.
Yes.
So please share the podcast if this is something that has blessed you. And we're going to have those links up. I didn't get them up in time for this week, but go ahead and download them. Like follow the broadcast and download those links we're on Spotify and Stitcher and all the things. So
yeah, Shauna's putting some links in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you, Shauna, you are awesome. And
Thank
Shauna
you.
took notes for us too, so we can go back, just review Shauna's
there you go, and know what we said. But and I've been a little scattered since we lost Lori in the chat, so might have to talk to Shauna.
She's been
all right. And then if you haven't yet and you would like to connect with us, you can sign up at this link for a 15-minute business idea evaluation or a ministry idea evaluation. So if there's something you've been chewing on or adding something to your business, like some of you Jody's doing and some of you were talking about today, you can sign up for this and we do that for free and kind of talk and pray with you through your idea. So get you going on your next step. So all right, everybody. I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for being with us. And we'll keep you posted on Michelle and see you next week. Bye-bye.